Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're back to shifter lines with 103. Now the title of the puzzle is actually Shifter Lines 103, Shift to Winter Clothing, It's Getting Cold. And you can see Sleuth definitely shifted to winter clothing there. I could see three different layers, I'm going to say. There is clearly a shirt, a jacket, and a coat, all wrapping him up, trying to keep him warm, and of course, the obligatory scarf when it's snowing outside. And you can see I've done the same thing. I'm dressed to the theme with a jumper, despite sitting in a nice, warm, cozy home right now. Although I don't know about you, like for us here in London, it has been very cold the last couple of weeks. And apparently will remain cold for yet another couple of weeks. It was very unusual to see negative numbers on our temperature in November. But that's been the case for us here. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer where you are, but I can't imagine that's the case in continental Europe. And then speaking to colleagues in the US and in Canada, it's pretty cold there as well. Right, let's take a look at the puzzle. We have Shifter Lines 103, Shift to Winter Clothing, It's Cold in Here, by guBBLOR. Sorry, it's not It's Cold in Here, It's Getting Cold. And, of course, I guess, thematically, if you're not familiar with the Shifter Line puzzles from guBBLOR, he tends to essentially use the shifter lines, which I'll explain in a second. If you haven't played them, make sure you start with one of the earlier ones. I'll make a link up here. Probably for Shifter Lines 101, which is quite a straightforward puzzle. And he tends to use yet another variant to basically just sort of almost like marry the two. And unsurprisingly, given it's all about temperature today, these are thermometers. If you don't know what I mean by any of this, don't worry, I will take you through the rules now. So, first rule, normal Sudoku rules apply. I imagine any viewer of this channel will understand what that means. Just in case, it means place the digits 1 through 9 in each empty cell, but please do not repeat them in the same row. So that means 1 to 9 and unique in every row, in every column, and in every 3 by 3 box. Shifter lines, I'm going to come back to last. Let's talk about thermometers. Very apt. So I'm going to go with this thermometer. So essentially just imagine that this is a thermometer, and therefore the digits increase from the bulb end as you go further up the thermo. So this could be, for example, a 3, but the one above it has to be more than 3. Let's say it's a 6. The next one along would have to be 7 or higher. If I press a 5 in here, I've broken the puzzle because the temperature, or I guess the digits, are not increasing as you go up the thermometer. Pretty straightforward. Shifter lines, slightly less straightforward, but we'll go through it. So adjacent digits within the same box on a shifter line share both parity, even/odd, and polarity, low/high. Whenever the line enters a new box, either the parity or the polarity shifts, never both. And it finishes off by saying shifter lines can never have a 5 on it, and digits may repeat on lines. So that was a lot of information, but let me just explain that. Essentially, these two cells have to have the same parity, as in they're either even or odd. Let's say they're they're even. But they also have to have the same polarity, as in low digits, 1, 2, 3, or 4, or high digits, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So if I had a 2 on one of these, the other one has to be a 4 to be both the same polarity and parity. Now, when it does shift through, so imagine that was a 2, that was a 4, it has to change. It's shifting. It is either going to shift to a different parity, so I can go from 4 to 1 or 3, or I can shift, did I say parity? Polarity. So I can go 6 or 8. But what I can't do is shift them both and put a 7 or a 9 in here, because I've changed both the polarity and the parity, and that's not allowed. Lastly, 5s are not allowed. They're somewhat ambiguous in the sense that you don't know if they're low or high, so lows are only 1, 2, 3, or 4. Highs are 6, 7, 8, and 9. Well, that's all the rules we have in store for today. If you are dressed up warmly in this very cold winter for us up here on the northern hemisphere, link will be in the description down below as usual for you to play along. And with that said, let me restart the clock and see how I get on. So I'm tempted to look at this fairly lengthy thermometer. That seems like the place to start. So minimum is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which unfortunately gives me a reasonably high degree of... Hang on, let me think about it. I can't have a 5, excuse me. So that can't be a 5. That's 6, 7, 8. So let me take that back. I only have 1 degree of freedom. So 2, 3, 4. Can't be 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Now the interesting thing is that I'm observing is where am I going with this? Like, take a look at these two digits, in particular this digit. If that's a 7, that has to be an 8. If that's an 8, that has to be a 9, because it has to change the parity. Can't change the polarity. Can only be a high digit. Same here, it can only be a high digit. So all I know is these two have to be the same parity. So they're either both 7 and 9, and this is an 8, or they are 6 and 8, and this is a 7. So in a very weird way, this is like a 6, 7, 8, 9 triplet, and you have to select 3 consecutive digits from it. Now, the other thing in here is that this 6 would require a 4 in here, which is fine because I've changed polarity. I've gone from a high digit to a low digit. I can also go from 7 to a 6 because I've changed parity, but I can't go from 7 to 4 because I've changed both polarity and parity. It's very interesting. So it's almost like it feels like once you pin down a digit on this thermometer, basically everything else is fixed. If that's a 1, that has to be a 2. If that's a 2, this has to be a 3. If that's a 3, can't be a 6, it has to be a 4. 4 would require this to be a 6. 6 would require this to be a 7. 7 would require this to be an 8. Wow. And I guess whilst we might not be able to actually place any digits, we are... Well, actually, I can place a digit. I should have started there. Something that I often forget with these puzzles is 5 can never be on these lines. And look at box 7. These are all shifted lines. The only place where a 5 is in here. I mean, a bit late now, but first digit in under 3 minutes. We'll take it. Have we got any other easy digits like this? Not really. I mean, I know that therefore there's a 5 in here, because again, can't be on shifted lines. There's a 5 in there, can't be on shifted lines. And that seems like as far as I'm going to be able to take it. What I'm more tempted now to think about is essentially all the thermometers that are next to sort of this one, just to see if there's anything that can force any of these digits, because that will give me a whole bunch of them. So let's think about this one. This is a minimum of 1, minimum of 2. This would be a 3, this would be a 4, this would be a 6, which is quite a bit of degree of freedom. But clearly, you can see just how much influence it all has. I mean, first off, that's a 1, 5. Because there's no 5 in here, no 5 in there. And none of these could be 1s because there's always something lower on them on the thermometer. So that's the 1, 5 pair. Now, I guess this can always go all the way up to 9, and then I can work backwards from that. You know, tempting. I just spotted something. Sleuth is being not very clever. This is not a correct fill. This is a correct fill. They have to be the same polarity and parity on the side of the thermometer. So that can't be a 2. And in fact, because it can't be a 2, that gives me a 2 up here. There's no other place I can place a 2. And remember, if that is a 2, that forces a whole bunch of things. That can't be a 4. I have to change something. That's a 3. I have to change something, not 2 things. That can't be a 6. So that's a 4. That's now a 6. I can't change both polarity and parity. This cannot be an 8. I have to change something. So that's a 7. And I have to change something back. That's an 8. Which now tells me that these are almost certainly fixed. And because they are increasing in order, well, this is not a 3 anyway. What is the remaining digits? 1, 2, 3. The smallest remaining digit is a 4. Next up is a 7 and 9. This, therefore, has to be a 2. I have to change something. I mean, it can only be a 6, because the next thing up from a 4 that I can place on here is a 6, and it's also the least digit I can put next to the 7. Well, before the 7. So look at that. Stunning, stunning start. One thing I tend to do is color these. And you'll see that I will be consistent with the coloring. I don't know how helpful this is, but I tend to find that if I color, it just allows me to focus a bit. So, for example, I need a 6 and 8 and a 1 and 3. And I need something in here that would allow me to shift between them. So one option could be a 2 or 4, essentially going from 1, 3 to an even, and then from a low even to a high even. Or a 9, going from a high even to a high odd, from a high odd to a low odd. Obviously, I keep making sort of the assumption this is 1, 3 and 6, 8, that, you know, just ignore that. I don't know where they are. I know they're shifting around through this cell. But I don't think that's enough information to solve this. So time to look at other thermometers. Maybe this one, actually, given how much of the row I've completed. So if this is 1, that would be 3. This could be 4. No, it can't be, because it has to be the same. So 4 is just too low, because, you know, the same polarity and parity would put a 2 in here, which I can't. I can't place a 2. So from 1 and 3, the next step up would actually be a 7 or a 9. Is that really correct? Because, I mean, immediately I'm jumping to a 9. Because I have to change something. If I change parity, that would be a 4, and therefore this would be a 2, and then it breaks. If I change polarity, this is forced to be a 9 because there's a 7 in here, and that would be a 7. So that's one valid fill of this thermal. I don't have 2, therefore I don't have 4. Next up would be 6, which I don't have. And if I do 7 and 9, you know, I can't do 6, 8, and 9 because 6 is not available. And then obviously 7 and 9 is too big because that would require a 10. So as incredible as this sounds, this is entirely forced. I'm just stunned by that. That is amazing. Which also means I still need to place an 8 and a 9. Well, the 9 is in here. And the 8 is in there. Wow. Just doesn't feel right, but I don't see how else I could have actually filled this thermometer. Maybe we've got more challenges that lie ahead. These two have to be the same. So for example, I mean, I can put a 1 in here, but I can't put a 2 because I'd need the 4 next to it. So the next one up here has to be, well, it's not even 6. No, this can't be right. No, I could do 3, of course. I could do, no, because I've already placed a 1. So that can't be a 1. That could be a 2. I can do 3, 1. Yeah, forget that for a second. Let's just think about what this digit is. If it's not 3, the next digit along is not 4, it's not 5, obviously, because it's on a shifted line. It's not 6, it's not 7, it's 8. then what do I do with these 2 digits on the thermometer? So this has to be the 3, therefore this has to be the 1. That's green done in this box. This has to be less. I've already placed the 1. That has to be a 2. That's blue done in this box. Now I need to shift polarity or parity. Of course I can only shift, well, that's not true. I could actually go to a 4. Technically I can go to, no I can't. If I go to a 4, this would be a 2. I can't place a 2 in there because of this 2. So I actually have to go up to a 7. And that's the 9. And that's the 8. Because, you know, I've placed the 9. I need something greater than the 7. That's the 8. That's the 6 because it has to be the same color. And these are red and these are orange. We're pretty much at the home stretch now. So this is either a 2 or 4. Or a 7 or 9, which it isn't because I've already placed them. So that's just a straightforward 4. What do we have on here now left? Let's just place these. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 5, 6, and 8. This has to be the higher digit. This has to be the lower digit. Can I place this digit? Maybe. Nothing wrong with 1 and 3. Can't be 2, 4. So these two are the same color. They're not blue. They're not orange. But they could be, like, they could be green, or they could be red. Both of these work. Well, based on the rule, based on the Sudoku right now. What we also need to think about is what do they shift towards? If this is a low odd digit, well, high odd digits are not available. So this would have to be a low even digit. 4 is not available. This would have to be a 2. 6 and 8, well, again, I can't be a high odd digit. It's going to have to be a low even digit, and the 4 is not available. That is always a 2. This is a very strange thermometer. I only just noticed that. So is that... Does it say anything about it? No, it just says digits along each thermometer must increase from the bulb end. So I'm kind of going to interpret this as a thermometer that's going up and a thermometer that's sort of going up and then round again. Clearly it can't swing back down. Let me just remove everything that's in here. Yeah, that's the thermometer setup. That's not my imagination or an error. So this has to be less than 5 and 6. I mean, this could be as low as 1. This could be as low as 2. Can't be 3. It could be 4 or 5. No higher because this is 5 or 6. This could be 2. Can't be 3. It can be 4. If this is 1, 3, that's fine, isn't it? Interesting. Very interesting. I was kind of expecting we'll be further along by now, but okay. So 1s and 4s. Let's do a bit of Sudoku. That's 1 and 4. Whatever this digit is, it's not an 8, it's not a 6. I mean, Sleuth, just pay attention. Sleuth, Sleuth. Ay, ay, ay. And therefore we know what this is. This is 2 and 3. This was kind of sorted. We actually have to have a 1 up here. So one of these is a 1. Therefore there's a 1 in there. What is this box? We have a 3 in here. Actually, I'm just ignore that. I'm just going to actually just... I mean, I can write a 6 in here. Let's write a 6. I can write an 8 in here. Let's write in an 8. I can write in... No, I can't. I was about to say I can write in a 2. I can't. It's already written. These are 5, 9. Let's just finish what this is. 1s are here. 3 is here. 1, 2, 3, 4 is anywhere, as is 5, unfortunately. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. I clearly need to do something about this line. Oh, I do know what this is. That's a 4. That's that. These are not 4. This is 1, 3, or 5 now. It's not known. Okay. I know what these 2 digits are. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is 5 and 9 again. And this is 2, 3, and 7. That's not 2. This is not really helping, is it? What would actually help? How about a 5 and a 1? That's not 1. That's not 2. That is the 1. That's a 3. That's a 5. These are not 5. That's a 4. That's therefore a 1. That's a 3. That's a 1. That was more helpful, wasn't it? 2, 4, 5. There's definitely a 6 in here, which I cannot place still. That 1 tells me the 1 and 3 are here. That's the 6 and 8. 6 and 8 are done. 1 and 3. I mean, 1s are done. This is 6 with 2, 4, or 5, and I don't really have anything to disambiguate any of it, so. How about 5 looking at a 4, looking at a 2? This is a 5, 6 pair. This 5 is telling me the order. That's a 6. That's an 8. That's a 6. Doesn't help me with the remainder in this row. That's okay. I need a 2, which can only be in here. I need a 4, which can only be in there. I need a 7 and 8, and I don't know where they go other than 7 and 8. And up here I have 2, 7, and 8, and a 9. Well, the 2 is definitely down here. The 7 and 8 with a 9 is up there. And then there's another 7 and 8 with 5 and 6. So the 7 and 8 is in here. The 5 and 6 is in there because we've got 5 and 6 staring at the cell. That's not 2, that's not 3, that's just a 7. How about I just use what I've already placed? I think that would actually help. Somewhat help. It's not helping right now. But I should be able to place a 3 in here. No, it's already placed. Sorry, in here, yeah. 1, 2, 3, I need a 4. Can only be in here. That's not 7. There's a 7 up here. What else? 8 is not here. 8's there. That's not 6. 6 is up here. So this is 6, 7, 8. Not 8. Not 7. Not 6. Not 7. This is a 9 to finish the box, which gives me the 5, the 9. Therefore the 6, the 5, therefore the 8, the 7, the 6. The 7 gives me the 8 over here. I should be able to place this. This is a 7, that's the 9. 7 gives me the 2, the 8, the 4, the 7. The 2 gives me the 3, the 2, the 1, the 3, 4, the 1. 5 and 9, not solved, surprisingly. I need in here 5 and 7. This 7 tells me that's the order. 5, 9, excuse me, I can't type today. 5, that's a 9, and if I've not made any mistakes, 2, and a solution to today's puzzle. Lovely puzzle as always, guBBLOR. Really interesting how on this thermometer, just one digit forces the entire thing. It's just quite interesting, actually. And then this comes along and just forces the whole lot. And then from there on, it was pretty straightforward. I made it seem difficult, I think, today. Again, it wasn't meant to be, but that's how I made it seem, I think. I colored all the shifter lines. I'm good to go. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle. Hope they enjoyed the video. And see you back for the next one. Bye for now.